what type of things do you think, especially in the music, the student musician sphere, lead to us kind of pushing ourselves past the point where our body, it's being detrimental to our body?
I think that we're probably very competitive in nature, especially when you're at school and you're, trying to learn and glean as much as you can from your teachers and your peers. At least that for me, I think that was something that it was, especially being in a conservatory environment. I mean, piano is like a very competitive instrument anyways, or like a violinist or sopranos or something like that, tenors. And so I think just trying to be top of game can sometimes lead you to doing more than you actually physically are able. And you tell yourself you can keep going because you want to, but it's not necessarily the best choice.
And we feel like we're going to be losing out on our progress, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to be growing if we're injured, which
Right.
is a huge fallacy in my opinion. The other thing that you mentioned that I really I'm grateful that you touched on was the fact that when you got to this conservatory, you had all these things going on, all these different playing opportunities. And something that the research is starting to show is that people who, I don't know what your experience has been, but definitely for me, people who come from smaller programs tend to overwork themselves once they get to college because they now have all these opportunities and they feel like they have to take all of them. Or they want to take all of them, right? For me, the analogy I always use for myself was like I was a kid in a candy store. I just wanted to get it all. And while we have to wear multiple hats as musicians and be able to do different things, what have you learned from your injury and also in your career about maybe taking a different approach, but still needing, like, understanding that you do have to wear those multiple hats and get those different experiences, because if we don't look at that the right way, that can lead to further injury. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like you mean as a student, like kind of how to not overdo it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, looking back, I mean, now that I'm like on the other side and a different place in my career, of course I can say, yeah, you shouldn't do that. It'll all turn out
Sure.
great. But at the time, um, you don't actually know what's going to happen to you, right? You don't actually know if you'll get a job or if you'll get some other opportunities or if you'll learn how to do chamber music or whatever it is that you want to do. So it's difficult. I think that looking backwards, the best thing that could have happened to me really is to have a mentor who you can talk to and bounce ideas off of and say, hey, do you think I'm doing too much? And that they can encourage your strengths. I'm not going to say I didn't have that, but definitely the conversation of injury was not something people talked about all the time. And, it's kind of like oh gosh, you've got leprosy or something like that. So
Yeah, right.
I don't even know. I don't know if I would have, talked. I did end up talking about it, of course, after I got injured, but before, when I was kind of going downward in this spiral of practicing too much, I don't even know if I would have approached any mentor figure and said, hey, do you think this is too much?
Yeah. I mean, I remember having those conversations and still not backing down. I remember specifically having one lesson where I said, do you feel like I'm overloading myself? And he said, yes. And I just kept going,
Right.
I felt that pressure. I felt that pressure to be, have my hand in all those different cookie jars and it's a thing that I don't know if there's necessarily an antidote for, but I definitely think there's a perspective change or a mindset shift that can happen to help us be able to move through that in a more healthy way.
Yeah.
I think, how has your view of progress in general changed because of your injury?
You mean how to progress or how I progress?
How to progress as a musician?
Oh yeah, well that changed a lot. So I think before, as I mentioned, I was practicing, 6 to 8 hours a day, and that was kind of the norm for me back then, and probably most students and people at conservatory. But now what I do, and I take a lot of concerts, and I don't ever practice 6 to 8 hours a day. I mean, one, because life will not let me, but score study and listening and absorbing by observation have become really powerful practice techniques. And I don't think that you can totally give up the need to go through exercises and do things like that at a certain point in life. But I think at the time there was not enough information that there are other ways to learn stuff besides sitting at the instrument and actually, playing it, because of the overuse. And again, it depends on your body. But if you discover that, for whatever reason, physically you cannot sit there for whatever amount of time, you have to have other options.
Hey, thanks for tuning into this episode of Trust the Process, the official podcast of Musician Unchained, the newest coaching program dedicated to helping musicians navigate and overcome injury. But before you go, I have a few quick ways you can stay connected and support our growing community. First of all, I'd love to hear from you. Shoot me a text with the link below and share your thoughts, questions, or just say hi. You can also check the show out on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. We also would love to see you in our Facebook support group, Trust the Process Podcast Injured Musician Support Group. If you found value in today's episode, consider making a donation to support our mission of empowering musicians worldwide. Every contribution helps us create more content and resources for you. So visit link number 2 below to support the mission. If you decide to donate, I'll send you my newest resource, the Injured Musician Toolkit, which is an ebook designed to give you tools to help you get through your injury. Subscribe to our newsletter to get exclusive insights, tips, sneak previews of episodes, and announcements straight to your inbox. Act now and I will send you a free gift. So sign up at www.musicianunchained.com/newsletter. And if you or someone you know would like to go deeper with me in the topics of injury and mindset, head over back to musicianunchained.com and check out the Let's Hang tab. As always, I want to thank Daniel Baldwin, my audio engineer, and my sister Dana Lovell for her help with the promotional materials. There is no podcast without them. Before I go, I want to tell you how much I deeply appreciate your time and support. You are not alone on this journey. There are musicians and educators out there who need this resource, and we need to get it to them. Together, we are breaking the chain of old habits and thought patterns that don't serve us anymore, and unchaining the potential within ourselves to face each challenge with strength and resilience. So, as I always say, keep on keeping on, and keep trusting the process. Until next time.